We're going to talk about a couple trades that went down over the past week, week and a half that we didn't get to talk about last week. I guess just real quick, since you guys didn't get to talk about it last week, I talked ad nauseum about the Michael Porter Jr. Cam Johnson trade. So we'll get y'all's quick thoughts. What were your thoughts on the deal?
Oh, I mean, we were live for it, but great deal for both sides. I think we were all unanimously agreement on that. MPJ needed a new start.
Yeah.
And we know Cam Johnson was kind of the ideal fit for Denver. And I guess they read into everybody's minds. They called each other and said, hey, the fans want it. Let's make it happen. And it happened. It was just straight up 1-for-1 with, I think, 2 picks involved for Brooklyn. I think it's a good deal for both sides. And I think both sides are going to be very happy in the future. Barring anything major that happens, I don't want to jinx it. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
That's plastic, brother.
It is?
Knock on your head. It also works.
Yeah, but A-plus side, for A-plus trade from both sides, I don't think anybody lost here.
Can you go over the trade one more time?
So it's Cam Johnson to the Denver Nuggets for Michael Porter Jr. and an unprotected 2032 first-round pick.
That pick is actually going to be massive for the Nets because Denver could be in purgatory in 2032.
I doubt it, but Jokic is probably still going to be playing because put it this way, right? He told the Nuggets he's not signing his extension this year, which means he's going to do it next year. That's at least going to be a 5-year deal.
Okay.
So that takes you at least, that'll be 2026. That takes you to at least 2031.
Yeah.
And he'll probably extend again because he'll be 35 by that point. He's still going to be playing at his tip-top level.
Okay.
So basically, they had to give up the pick because the cap space. Cam Johnson makes $15 million less per year than MPJ. He's making $38 million this year, MPJ.
Right.
So, what were your thoughts on the deal, Gio?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a perfectly even deal, to be honest. I think MPJ going to the Nets, it might unlock something in MPJ that we haven't gotten to see in his career so far. You know
He
what I
did
mean?
in high school.
Yeah,
when he was
right,
like
in his career in the
dog.
NBA.
Yeah.
But like, it might give us some flashbacks of what he was in high school, or it might remind us how good he actually can be.
Right.
So I'm excited to see him on the Nets. And as far as Cameron Johnson, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
I think he's a really good player. He knocks down shots. He plays great defense. He's big. How tall is he? Like 6'9"?
Not as tall as MPJ. He's like 6'8".
6'8".
Yeah.
Still, he plays big. You know what I mean? He grabs rebounds. He's stronger than MPJ, if you ask me. He's more physical than MPJ. It's kind of what the Nuggets need.
Yeah.
They don't really need another star, which MPJ could be. You know what I mean? He could be
Exactly.
that star in Brooklyn. So I think this is a perfect fit for both sides. So I'm excited to see.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll obviously grade this later on in the main segment of the show, but I just wanted to get y'all's quick thoughts because I know you weren't able to do it last week. So that was a rough time recording by myself. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I kept wanting to ask you guys. Yeah. But let's get into the first big trade that happened, really the only big trade that happened. So I'll put the tweet on the screen from Shams Charania saying, breaking, the Clippers, Jazz, and Heat have agreed to a 3-team trade that sends Norman Powell to Miami, John Collins to the Clippers, as well as Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 second-round pick to the Utah Jazz.
Kevin Love is still in the NBA?
He is, yeah.
Holy. How many? Let me just look up.
He could retire soon.
He's done, bro.
He's been in the league forever. He's going to get bought out by the Jazz. I presume he's probably going to go back to Cleveland, although I would love to have him in Brooklyn because we need some vets because Michael Porter Jr. and Nick Claxton are not vets you really want to have on that team.
Yeah.
But, Antoine, what are your thoughts on this massive trade?
Well, yeah, this broke on Monday. I think Monday afternoon.
The tweet came out on July 7th, so yes.
Yes. Just out of the blue. We knew Collins was on the move. Just didn't think it would be to the Clippers. Because they just signed Brook Lopez. And they have a pretty good, nice front court. But I guess Collins solidifies their 4. Again, I mean, Shams put as a lob threat. I mean, yeah.
That's what he's known for.
Sure.
You have Harden as your point guard.
Clippers giving up Norm is, I think, atrocious.
It's a mistake?
I think that's a massive mistake.
Really?
I disagree, actually.
I don't know. I think Norm had a great year, but going to Miami is good for Miami.
Yeah.
You need a scorer.
Pat Riley's awake. You might not be washed after all.
That's good. Miami is, I guess, the fallback option for not getting KD, I guess.
I don't think they were trying to get KD because they would have had to give up so much. Like, you're giving up Tyler Hero, you're giving up Khalil Ware. They didn't want to do that. But, Gio, you disagreed with what Anthony said?
Yeah, so I think the Clippers moving on from Norman Powell, I think it's about time. I think a new scenery for Norman Powell is good. I think it's ideal. And also, I don't know how much. I know he's a great player. I know he's a great six man. I know he's a great, he picks up the slack wherever you need it. But it seems to me that he only does good when your star players are down and out. Like he doesn't really. He's not. I don't want to say this because it sounds wrong, but he's not really a winning player. You know that? People say winning player.
Yeah.
He's not that to me.
I mean, doesn't he have
not that to me.
Doesn't he have a championship?
He does on the Raptors.
Also, I mean, this could also be the Clippers wanting to focus on more scoring from Kawhi and Harden.
Well, it wasn't that. They didn't want to pay him an extension. That was why they traded him.
Fair.
And
but Collins is the same thing.
Wait.
Well, Collins is going to cost you way less than Norman Powell would. Remember, Norman Powell was a fringe all-star last year, and there's no guarantee you're going to get that season out of him again. You're going to have to pour out all this money. John Collins gives them so much flexibility now with their front court depth.
Okay.
They can run out so many lineups now you can run any combination. Even Collins at the 3, if you want to go super big and you go Collins, Zubats, and Brook Lopez, you can if you want to.
It's crazy.
I highly advise against that. But your center power forward room is now really locked and loaded. James Harden finally has his true lob threat. I think this is a really good trade for the Clippers.
Agreed.
And I originally thought differently. I'm like, why the heck would you give up Norman Powell? This is why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Jazz really just wanted to get him off the team. They got Kyle Anderson, a second, and Kevin Love.
Yeah. There was something that said that he was like too productive for them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Too productive.
They had the worst record in the league. What were they? What else?
He was getting them too many more wins than they needed.
John Collins,
but they still finished with the worst record in the NBA. That's what I'm confused about. Unless last year, because last year they did not have the worst record.
Maybe they're just trying to bring up his value or something.
This was the offseason. They moved on from Sexton. Clarkson's gone. Collins is gone. We're waiting on Markkanen. Yeah. Who knows? And then I guess Walker Kessler. But again, that's a young piece you want to keep. But who knows? But the 3 guys we thought were going to get moved, I guess, last trade deadline are now gone.
Yeah.
One of them they released. 2 of them they got assets back. Oh, Nurkic. We guess Nurkic can move off the team now.
He's staying.
All right. He's staying.
Announced his number and everything like that. Okay. But, yeah, I mean, as far as the Clippers goes, that ends great. Norman Powell on the Heat intrigues me a lot because
it does.
You're obviously running out your lineup with, I'm assuming Tyler Hero is going to run your point now.
No, Terry's back.
Yeah, but Terry Rozier is just not that good anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you want Jonas to run the point eventually?
Eventually. He's more of a 2. I wouldn't call him a point guard.
All right.
But fair. You have the both of them. Let's just say hypothetically it's Hero and Powell. Then your 3 for now is Wiggins. I know they're still trying to trade him.
Yeah.
But you have Wiggins, and then I really like the Bam Khalil Ware 4-5 combo. So Gio, in a weak East, this Miami Heat team, how are you feeling?
They're still a playing team.
I guess some things just never change.
Yeah. Like the Heat, I feel like they'll always be an everlasting playing team.
Yeah.
At least for now. So I'll put them in the play-in.
But if you're looking at the trade, the Heat give up basically just Kyle Anderson for Norman Powell.
And Kevin Love.
I mean, but Love is getting a buyout, and it's not really major.
Right, but still, though, Kevin Love was a big vet voice on this roster,
true.
and now he's going to probably go somewhere to ring chase.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, Hero's not really a solidified point guard. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Hero could do it. But the starting 5 is good. Again, I'm not a Wiggins believer. Again, Wiggins is going to get moved, I feel like, too. And their bench, like Hawkes is nice. Chloe was going to be starting. We said that already.
Yeah.
It's not a bad team. We have to see.
No, not at all. And I think we'll have to just gauge it with this trade because it's clear that the Clippers and Heat made pivots that tried to fix a hole in their roster. And we'll just have to see if it works. I mean, the Clippers, I'm just never going to believe in them until they prove me wrong because that's just the Clippers thing. And, Miami, it's Miami.
Kind of the same thing for now.
But if there's any time to fluke a finals run again, now's the time to do it. When all the good teams are out. And I mean, remember, this team made the finals as an 8 seed.
Yeah, but they had Jimmy B.
They still had Jimmy Butler, yeah. So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And then, we'll have to see what goes on with the rest of Utah's roster. I don't necessarily know.
It's a very young roster.
Very young roster. They could wind up trading Larry Markkanen and whatnot. Who knows when they'll start competing. Get into the next trade. This one happened yesterday. Kind of random out of the blue. So for context, I'm trying to remember this exactly. Kelly Olynyk had gotten traded to the Wizards from the Pelicans in the CJ McCollum trade.
Yes.
Okay, so he went to Washington in the CJ McCollum trade. And I think Washington's still trying to tank in some way, even though you have a roster that's good enough to maybe make the play in. But I understand the 2026 draft class is insane. And Kelly Olynyk is a stretch 5 that's highly sought after on the market. So, a tweet from Shams Charania that's back on the screen right now. The Wizards are trading Kelly Olynyk to the San Antonio Spurs for Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, and a 2026 second-round pick. So now Wemby has a stretch 5, much better than Zach Collins, and will start, presumably, if he does play the 4 or not, over Luke Cornett or he comes off the bench. So, Antoine, your thoughts on this trade, man?
I mean, at random at first, it was just like, okay, I understand it. Kelly's a nice big to have. I mean, if Cornett's not starting, bench guy, of course. Stretch 5. The Wizards got Cam Whitmore. Don't forget, Cam Whitmore, Malachi Branham. Again, getting a lot younger. They're bringing a lot of guys that were somewhat good under previous teams, now getting a brand new spot for a wide open Wizards team that probably the starting 5 and bench spots are kind of not solidified yet until maybe training camp comes around.
Yeah.
And see what happens. I mean, more depth for Wemby. God forbid, we don't know what happens with his blood clot. Maybe it's, it's a hard injury to come back from. You have Kelly, you have Cornett as coverage as well.
Yeah.
But again, just a nice trade. Malachi and Blake Wesley did not get major minutes. You're not giving up anything really massive.
Nope.
Kelly, again, should not have been on that Wizards team. Again, because, look, the Wizards signed Valanciunas last year. You got moved to a contender now, back on Denver. Still getting, waiting to get finalized. But regardless.
Yeah.
Moved on. Kelly, same story as him. Move on to a contender. Found a spot in San Antonio. And you just move on with it. And you go into the season with this and you just kind of have depth. We know they have depth. So they gave up the lesser-known players that they have on that bench for someone that's actually going to play. So It's a win-win for them and for also Washington to get at least some young players in return.
Yeah, it's true, and they can maybe flip some of those guys. I think the 2 players they got could really break out in more of a green light setting. Malachi Branham was being talked about a couple of years ago as one of the more underrated players in the league. He dunked on LeBron, so
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was in. That's why, because every time LeBron gets some sort of highlight on him, Rich Paul will just kind of like slowly get it removed from existence. That's why we barely see the Reggie Jackson ankle break. We rarely see the Yabusele dunk.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So your facial reaction says it all. Yeah, exactly.
Reggie Jackson took LeBron's ankles?
He literally did a pump fake, and LeBron literally fell down. It was hilarious. But, Gio, what are your thoughts on this trade for the Spurs?
Yeah, I have one reaction, and that is that the Spurs are just gathering all the big guys.
Yeah.
They're just loading up. They're just stacked in their front court, so they're looking pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Where do you think the Spurs can go with this current roster as it currently stands?
Name their starting 5 for me.
I mean, who the hell
Projection.
knows?
We don't
Projection.
know.
Okay, I'll give you just a general guess.
Okay.
So let's say it's any one of the two of it's going to be Fox as the starting point guard,
Okay.
and then I would assume Stephon Castle's the 2.
Okay.
Devin Vassell or Harris. I would say Devin Vassell or Harrison Barnes at the 3, and then probably the other one, and probably Sohan or Harrison Barnes or whoever at the 4, and Wemby at the 5, and then your bench you have Dylan Harper. You have the other one of the guys that don't start. You have Keldon Johnson. He might start as well. You obviously now have Kelly Olynyk. You have Luke Cornett. This team,
Carter Bryant.
Yeah, let me look at the Spurs depth chart. Just the estimated
It's a lot of
depth chart.
It's a lot of depth.
ESPN lists it as Fox, Harper, Vassell, Barnes, and Wemby.
Fox, Harper, Vassell,
Barnes,
Barnes,
and Wemby.
Wemby.
But I think benching Castle is kind of dumb. But
He did play good off the bench though this year.
He did
I
any
think-
combination.
I think this year the Spurs are going to be in like an experimental mode.
Yeah.
Where they're going to test out different
What works
lineups
and
because
what
there's
doesn't.
a ton of good players they got there.
They
So
do.
they're going to test out what lineups work, what lineups don't work.
Yeah.
And then they're going to figure out what the best lineup is. That's why I don't see them as a threat this year. They're still going to be a solid team, hard team to beat, team you don't really want to play. They're not going to be necessarily a contender.
I don't think they're going to be a contender, but I think they're going to be a playoff team at this rate.
So like what, like 5, 6 seed?
Top 6, 5
Top
seed.
six.
If he plays a full season, Wemby's going to be in the top 5 in the MVP.
Yeah.
It's almost like certain that it's going to happen. And because if he carries this roster of a lot of young guys and a couple vets that are on the tail end of their career, I think he could be in for a very big season.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I think with the roster you have right now, I mean, this is ridiculous, bro.
It's gonna be hard for him, man.
It does this roster is so loaded. I think depth is so important. They could get a 6 seed and do what the Pacers did 2 years ago and get to the conference finals. We don't know. We don't know what Wemby's going to be like in a playoff setting. But put it this way, their bench right now lists it as Dylan Harper as the point guard on the bench because he's the starting shooting guard. Stephon Castle. Forgot about Julian Champagny. He's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Keldon Johnson, Luke Cornett. You still have Kelly Olynyk. You have Jeremy Sohan. And you still have Carter Bryant. I mean, this team looks exciting. And I think Mitch Johnson's really going to – it's a good problem to have. He's going to really struggle to come up with good lineups
Right.
that will work with the rest.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we also know like Harrison's at the tail end of his career. Once he retires, you bring in another guy off the bench because they're going to be solidified too.
Next man up.
And that's what the Thunder did with their tanking. They didn't really get to do this when they were good, but the Spurs can do this now when they're good. They don't have to make trades or anything like that. They don't have to even tank anymore.
Yeah.
You have guys like when Fox leaves, a Harper Castle backcourt is objectively insane.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the problem's right there in house. They'll run into cap problems down the line, but every team will. So it kind of is what it is. You don't have to pay Wemby for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So you could even pay him at the end of next season if you wanted to. If they picked up his 4th year option, then it becomes a poison pill contract.
Right.
So we'll have to see kind of going forward with that.